Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
A wonderful welcome to each and everyone as we take this Monday into not just overdrive, but we're going to be cruising in the fast lane, smiling and shining in the sidewalks as we invite people to be a part of what's going to unfold. Honored to be able to have our friends from Cayman Enterprise to join us, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and truly is a pleasure to always sit there and facilitate. Thank you all for almost these 2 decades of having this incredible, uplifting opportunity to sit and facilitate, but to love, to learn, and to laugh. And as we welcome our friends from Cayman Enterprise today, Alyssa, welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. It's a great time of year.
Isn't it? I mean, we're probably torn in, as they say, betwixt and between, because we love the Christmas breeze, but any of us who are, either connected to or have family that are in the water sports sector, we feel for them.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cold in the mornings. The sea's a little bit choppy. We want them to make their trips, go touristing, as we used to say, but at the same time, we're like, ooh, boy, that good Christmas breeze.
Yes.
But
it's been very good, too.
Yeah. Blessings from on high that we embrace. And to your colleague, Ms. Deidre, welcome. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
All right. I want to say at the share that as we look at where we are as the years come, I look back to everything that, through you, Ms. Alyssa, almost daily it seems like there's an update, an email from you and your team. And I went back through and we talked about this briefly in the past. There's an activity every month. Now we know there are multiple activities.
Yep.
That's a lot from an entity.
It is. Enterprise Cayman is very busy. This year I would say we averaged about 3 to 4 maybe.
It was 3.78.
yeah, not quite rounded out, but it was quite a bit of events we hosted this year for 2024.
And the thing is that it's not just, and I want you to guide me in my willingness to celebrate and champion and sort of congratulate. It isn't about PR. A lot of the activities are not just free or relatively, relative so, but certain good value for money, but they're community based.
Right.
They're the words we like to use. They're empowering. They're inclusive. Not quite exhaustive, but they were from that budding entrepreneur to that individual who's not quite sure what's the space.
Right.
And that I think is where a community strength. So congrats, man.
Thank you. But I definitely agree. I think that all of the programs, the engagement is very well rounded. Like you said, you can be, very entry level into the entrepreneurship or tech space, or you can be very well advanced, looking to scale up to, just upskill yourself.
Yeah. And I want, through you, because this is probably, if my calendar is correct, our last discussion for this sort of fiscal year, and sort of preparing and anticipating our discussion, I wanted to ask a couple things. Of course, share with us, but I would like us as a community to reflect on where we are as a country, individually, where we are as entities, whether it's corporate or civic, and going into the new year, where do we add value? Not only where we can extract some benefit, whether that's financial or otherwise, but adding value. We ask, of governments, value for money in your project.
Right.
We ask our employees as profit-driven entities, pay attention to the bottom line,
Yes.
right? I want more dividends. The shareholders want, the employees want bonus. Everybody wants. But sometimes if you don't give, you can't get.
Absolutely. And Enterprise Cayman does not do what it does without that give back element. We rely heavily on our volunteers, and we really just try to share the platform that we have, give people the opportunity to engage in that knowledge sharing and networking, and just giving back to the community.
I don't know that if I had life to do over that I would study anything differently. I only wish that I would probably spend a little more time studying. Not saying that I would, but when we look at history and we look at human history, we look at just sort of three facets. The notion that we had an agrarian society, and then presumably the Industrial Revolution, and in this so-called information age that authors like Dizard and the like would talk about, and then now knowledge-based sectors. Early days of the apprenticeship, however that was, whether it's the guilds or otherwise, somebody knows something, somebody else comes along and is instructed. That then passes on. Your grandmother taught your mother, who hopefully you have learned, and you add. So from that perspective, Scripture says there's nothing new under the sun, yet every day we learn something. Is it that we're not seeking consciously? Are we always listening to respond as opposed to understand? Are we taking our wealth, whether that's our material or financial, or more importantly, our academic or practical experience and expertise with us, instead of sharing it with somebody, so that words like succession planning, as a good friend reminded me earlier, words like, it needs to be sustainable, all great things, but never in practice, because we don't tell, show, share. Doesn't matter if we're displaced at the end of the day because the person is better at the thing. I mean, the football player of yesteryear, or even today, hopefully will be bettered by the one coming up now, who is, just hoping to make the team. One day, we'll have the greats like Pele, hopefully.
Right.
To you, Ms. Deidre, I mean, how do we get the best of, each of us?
I think it's just going out there and seeking that the resources and all the things that are available to us. I think, like you said, we live in a world where, and in a time where right now buzzwords are like some of the biggest things. Like we have these moments where it's like, right now the biggest thing is AI. Right now the biggest thing is, you know what I mean? So I think sometimes sustainability, sometimes we get caught up in all these like little buzzwords, and again, it's all easier said than done. I know like we always have those peoples in our life who will say like, well, if only I could do this, or I could do this, or if we had this resource. And sometimes it's not that it's not available to us. It's just that we're not aware of it, and we don't really take the time to like go out there and find it. And I think what Enterprise Cayman does is try to provide all those opportunities, and try to make a space for everyone at every stage.
I love that. The sincerity, the honesty, but the integrity of what you shared. And I'm so glad that you shared that, because maybe in our society, especially now, I may be, castigated for it, but I stand by it. It's a conviction I've always held. At Christmas, I've always seen the worst of behaviors kind of subside. People who are at each other competitively all year. There's a little thing that happens at some point.
Soften up a bit.
Yeah. for maybe 10 to 14 days and not. And then they get back to it as soon as the new year kicks off again, right?
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, I always thought that as a country, if we have embraced what was our heritage, our culture, our tradition, and just chill at Christmas, enjoy, stop the foolishness, stay in somebody's yard and eat and drink as much as you want, but don't venture out on par, we'll be better. We'll be more relaxed and the like. Just a thought.
I wish it was that simple.
Okay, so when I become governor, here's it. There's gonna be
December. Community based.
There you go.
Yeah,
right, that's what we're gonna
absolutely.
do. Okay,
I love it.
Man, I can see a letter now from on high saying, "Hey, you can become governor because here's your exit papers." Start that process now. But I want us to do that because that's what makes us who we are.
Yes.
All right. After the break, would you be so kind as to share with us some of the things that may be coming up, some of the things that you've done? And I'll ask us that we're listening, how do we partner? How do we draw alongside? Maybe we attend one of these networking events. Maybe there's a workshop. Maybe we can offer something and we ask, how can we volunteer?
Right.
We have a lot. If Miss Marlene would allow me, as I try to do every time, credit her for what she talked about, giving of her time, her talent, and her treasure.
Absolutely.
And we have more than what we did. The lady in the scriptures, he who sins the most should be the first to pray, I say. She gave all that she had, the little. If some of us were to do, in my mind, give more, we might have more because there'd be more to get. Just a thought. All right, let's pause and take a break. Good friends will join us. I don't know, maybe somebody from the East who's wise may join us at 1, but we'll see what he says. I'll reach him because, man, this is a busy time of year. Please stay tuned and join us right after this break.
December is here, but there's still time for that Miami trip before Christmas. Cayman Airways has added several extra flights from Grand Cayman to Miami, perfect for a weekend getaway and to catch that increased duty-free allowance for Cayman residents. But hurry, word is getting round, so those extra seats not going to last long. Book your Miami seats online at CaymanAirways.com or call them on 949-2311. All aboard Cayman Airways with extra flights to Miami before Christmas.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I will be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Thursday the 19th December right up until Christmas Eve. Check KirkFreeport.com to see my daily schedule. I will be in my grotto in the afternoon each day, but earlier on Christmas Eve, Santa will have a special gift and sweet treats for every boy and girl, and Christmas music filling the air. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
A $5,000 award is being offered for the return of a missing dog that goes by the name of Spiky Haggis. Spiky is white cream in color and is a Pomeranian mix. He is a small dog that has a distinctive scar above his left hip. Spiky went missing mid-November in the area of Selkirk Drive and Bimini Drive. Cayman Vets is asking that if you have seen Spiky, a white Pomeranian mixed dog, to take a picture and send it to 525-5838 or call 525-5838 with information that could lead to his return.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Miss Alyssa Manderson and Mr. Edward Tulloch. Right? Got it? Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, man, Enterprise today. Enterprise Cayman for sharing with us, and I'm glad that through you, maybe it'll not only remind us as a community how we can build bridges and that networking opportunities that exist, but perhaps individually and corporately, we as entities can combine our efforts, perhaps even, be more concerted in our initiatives to add a greater value to our communities. Knowledge is something that my mama says, and once you get it up here,
right, nobody can take it from me.
So true, right? We know that.
And it's not up here not very heavily.
But it inspired you.
Absolutely.
Right? And again, like Mr. Dad talked about some of the phrases and sayings that we have, being lifelong learners, they or parents, grandparents may not have used those, but by example, that's what they did.
Right.
They wanted you to acquire knowledge. Here we are in the 21st century, knowledge-based sector, knowledge, transfer. So, Ms. Alyssa, opportunities abound for that?
Yes, absolutely. So coming up, our applications opened on December 1st for our summer internship program next year. The internship program is open to individuals 18 to 25, and the internships will last between 1 to 3 months. The deadline for the application is the 28th of February, so there's still some time there. It's a very short application, just getting some background information on you, and getting to know, what it is that you're interested in, how long you can commit, that kind of things. And then we take it from there and make the pairings accordingly.
So let me then ask, 1 to 3 months, that's a decent time for somebody to get at least an introduction, maybe figure out if this is where they are.
Right.
But within the Cayman Enterprise City, what sort of opportunities for internship? Is it sailing catboats and baking braids?
Not quite. Okay. So primarily, a lot of the internships are in the tech space. We do have a lot of people who also apply for marketing. That is a very very popular one as well. We have a lot of companies on our side that are taking on a lot of individuals in the marketing space. We have blockchain, fintech. What else am I missing? We have the general accounting, IT, that kind of stuff. Biotech, yeah, medtech. Yeah. It's very
technical.
Yeah, very tech based, and then we also have like the general marketing, accounting, IT, that kind of.
I'm glad you shared that, because what it would probably do for some was, especially as parents, and by that I mean, those of us who are a little bit older than 20 or 25, so you're 18 to 25, right? Maybe allowing the children to appreciate that whatever we thought were the traditional sort of employment sectors, that we are becoming increasingly aware. For instance, in hospitality, you're no longer, when you work in hospitality, relegated to what you think may have been food service or what have you. You can be a lawyer, certainly an accountant, but there's HR, there's marketing, events. So within Cayman Enterprise City, all these tech-based things, there are multifaceted approaches. You're looking at biotech. We probably would equate that to some other large metropolitan area.
Right.
Wait a minute, that company may be connected to one of those companies in that area.
Exactly.
You could end up overseas somewhere. Who
that
knows?
Networking opportunities endless at that point.
And that is hopefully where we as a country will sort of develop. We're watching emerging economies maybe after, being, say, I don't like how we label things, but a communist country now coming to capitalism. I'm not going to speak to whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. Transforming this economy and now taking up a space globally where before we didn't see them. A small space like today, who knows what will be like tomorrow.
Right.
So deadline is for this internship.
So deadline for your application is the 28th of February. We spend March and some of April going through all the applications. We receive about 160 annually, and we have to go through all of them, shortlist, and then we start sharing resumes with the companies who have come on board to take on interns, and then they hold their interviews separately and select their candidate from there. So about mid-May, you're hearing if you've gotten through, who you'd be working with, and then dates are set from there.
May I ask, and certainly, guide me if the question isn't properly formulated, but let's make an example. Say you have 100. I know you say you almost got 200,
right.
But let's say you have 100, just make it easy. Two things. Is there sort of a quota? Or not even a quota? Is there a limit? You're only going to be looking for 10 or 50 or 90.
So our goal for the year is 25 to 30 placements.
Okay.
Individuals who may not have been successful, we do offer some upskilling training for them separately. So that's putting them through some sponsored courses and kind of increasing their likelihood to be chosen next year, or just positioning them to market themselves a little better next time around.
Right. So despite the number of applicants, there is an element of distinguishing and differentiating yourself. So with that, the two parts of the question would be, you get X number of applications. Do you go through and give them all, or do you sort of as an entity, I guess what government and other places would do, we got a short list.
Right.
Is that, if you can share, is that how it works?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. And then the third thing then is, what in the application that you're looking for that would help the applicant to stand out? Because end of the day, if you're the only, marble amongst, the nuts, you might stand out.
Right. So things that help you stand out, or I would say that I've noticed in the last 2 years of doing this, is some individuals will share their resume and they've taken the initiative to get some kind of they've done some like online free courses in the area that they're interested in. They've done small certificate courses. They've just tried to done some kind of professional development on the side to kind of elevate them, to give them that extra leverage over the person that might have the general interest, doesn't have the background experience. And I feel like, especially with somebody who might not have that working experience already, doing those kind of side free courses online gives you that extra leg up, because you might have some additional background knowledge that somebody else might not have, that will get you chosen over them as well.
And I think the other is, let's just share the idea that you're applying. Just that alone gives you an opportunity to appreciate, well, this is what it's like when you are looking for something. No different than if you're shopping around for that particular thing. You may go to multiple stores, whether that's physical or otherwise,
right,
to check it out.
Right.
Gives you an insight and an appreciation.
Right. And I also think that with like our internship program being heavily tech sector based, it's also really nice, because I know when I was going through the system and looking for internships, sometimes you do get tunneled into those generic or like kind of pushed towards those generic, you can either be an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, but it's like just showing them that also there are these other sectors that are out there that they can also go and study, like that Cayman is a place that they can come back to and also work here. Like you don't have to leave to have the opportunity to work in those sectors as well. So it's nice to give them the opportunity to explore those opportunities as well.
Absolutely.
And that's key. And as you should, if I can sort of tag in there, you may but to pursue on law, medicine, whatever that is. But even with those professional qualifications and designations, you can do other things where you find that there's the immediate thing that came to mind, and not a physician, and I don't play one on the radio, but many physicians have taken MBAs and or other similar, and then got into admin or patient development or whichever, but having that
core knowledge,
now they can talk to the physicians because they speak the same language. They can speak to the patient as a patient advocate, for argument's sake, and then explain and be that intermediary. maybe get into business development, maybe get into the marketing, maybe get into helping to facilitate and direct where research grants will go, because you have that technical core knowledge. Again, we need to expand the minds of our people to make them aware of the opportunities.
Right.
Accounting degree is a fantastic, very international, portable, but you're not relegated to, auditing or sitting,
You still have to specialize.
Yeah. So awesome. What a good time to be there.
Yeah, and we have a lot of interns from our 2023 cohort too, who have since found themselves in full-time positions with piggybacking off of those internships and things like that. So it really can be super beneficial in the long term.
This is why I think where teachers are, in many respects, so rewarded. Whatever the money is, it is, but they see their students 10, 15, 30 years later being fulfilled. We're going to find a little break to take. When we come back, we invite you to share with us as you wish.
Yes.
To our listeners, our good friends from Cayman Enterprise City, Enterprise Cayman joins us. What a Christmas present it'll be. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
December is here, but there's still time for that Miami trip before Christmas. Cayman Airways has added several extra flights from Grand Cayman to Miami, perfect for a weekend getaway and to catch that increased duty-free allowance for Cayman residents. But hurry, word is getting round, so those extra seats not going to last long. Book your Miami seats online at CaymanAirways.com or call them on 949-2311. All aboard Cayman Airways with extra flights to Miami before Christmas.
'Tis the season at Vigoro, and we've got all your festive favorites. From Christmas ornaments to decorations, succulents to ceramics. We've got gifts galore. Pots, blooms, orchids, garden accessories, furniture, even fairy gardens for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that'll be treasured forever. Our Agricola location will be open Christmas Eve from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
The holiday season is approaching, which means the holiday gatherings and a little bit of me time.
Beacon Furniture has the perfect selection of furniture pieces to bring comfort and joy to your home.
Comfortable seating, cozy bedroom furniture, the perfect dining set to fit your guests, mattresses that are just right, and gorgeous home accessories.
Beacon Furniture offers free delivery and setup. Visit us at 386 Shamrock Road, across from the Seafarers Hall in Prospect, or call 943-2500.
Happy holidays from Beacon Furniture.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Britgay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Adjo Tulak from Cayman Enterprise City, Enterprise Cayman. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing not just the joy, but the integrity of the work, that incredible work ethic, that reminder that we do what we do because we can, because we want to, and in so doing, maybe we'll inspire, encourage, nurture. Not just words, but words of impact, and hopefully words that cause us to truly contribute. So, I don't know, man. Not quite. Even if I was to add 18 to 25, I still wouldn't qualify. But that group for your internship, hopefully you'll get an incredible number of applicants again. And but thanks for telling us about that. What else you want to share with us, Mom?
So also we have our business design competition coming up early part of next year. Applications for that opened on November 1st and closes the end of January 31st. So our business design competition is influenced from Shark Tank. So you are applying, the top 10 are selected, you're going through a series of workshops, you're paired with a mentor to help you. Well, firstly, the workshops are centered around validating your business idea and solution to make sure that you have thought that through, foolproof it, and it is something that can work in the market. And then we're pairing you with an advisor as well in an area that you've identified in your application as a weakness or where you'd like to further develop. And then after those 3 workshop days, we have our big pitch day competition where you're getting up on stage in front of the judges and you are giving your pitch for your business idea. And then from there, the project of the year is selected. The grand prize for that is $10,000 USD. And then we have some subcategory prizes: Innovation Award, Community Impact Award, Best Storyteller Award. And those are all sponsored from local companies as well.
Right. Now we know that internship has 18 to 25 sort of age limit. The business design competition.
The business design competition is 18 plus.
18 plus.
It is, yes.
Okay. And any and everybody
right.
can apply, whether it's a for-profit venture
right.
or not.
Right. Any service, product, any kind of entity that you think will work well.
And it doesn't have to be limited to something that would be just for the Cayman Islands community?
No, it can be something that you like to scale internationally, globally. We're just really helping you hone in on that ideate stage and making sure that it is a solid problem and solution.
And that's where innovation. We see from the infrastructure, from the telecoms to the legal and accounting and other professions we have here, to our legislative, where, over the years we've passed some good laws that Cayman is a truly competitive and contributing part to the global economy.
Right.
So with this, we could have somebody or a group of people forming something that could have a global impact, whether it's in the environment space, whether it's in the social space.
Yeah, there are a lot of gaps to fill at the moment. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are just, running that idea through their head over and over again, encouraging you to just apply. It doesn't need to be fully thought out. You just have to be able to identify your problem and the solution that you have for it.
Right. It's the other, that's not a bad thing. You get help. Sometimes think about it. If some of the businesses had that when they were first starting out, as viable as they are now, they might have been there much sooner, much better.
Absolutely. We're really focusing also on connecting you with people within that same space, that you can, outside of the competition now, when things are over, you can still meet with them. You can still lean on them for that, for that knowledge and guidance.
Yeah. To build on kind of what Alyssa said, we've had some of our past participants who may not have won the competition have expressed that through participating in the competition and having that mentorship, they've been able to continue, regardless of whether they won or not. They still lean on their mentors and they are still pursuing their project. And just from being in the project and having that networking opportunity, they have people in the space that they can get advice from and lean on. And another thing to add is it's 100% free to apply.
Right.
Like there is no cost to apply. You just have to have an idea.
Yes.
Yep.
And some initiative.
And some initiative.
Yes.
There's a thing that say the formula for success is this plus this and whichever. But if you can have the best idea, the best intention, but if you don't exercise the initiative, it doesn't go nowhere, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And it is for you. You know, a lot of people are intimidated by the idea, or you know, the getting up on stage. You know, we work with you with public speaking workshops. You know, you're so familiarized by the point the actual pitch day come around. You know, you're comfortable with your cohort. You know, so you kind of feel like you're amongst family and friends, and you know that weight and that nervousness does kind of come down a bit.
You imagine someone is willing to help you to get where you would like to go. Sometimes you're not quite sure, and that person is there, or those people. The coach sees the potential in a player, whether that player has no idea, is that a football or the football boot? But boy has showed up.
Right.
That person can learn to the person that was in the womb juggling the ball. Everyone has potential, just willing to be nurtured
Yes.
and make the commitment. So I commend you for that. Hopefully we get a chance in the new year to talk more about these.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll be back before the deadline closes.
But that's the 31st of January,
Yes.
so I don't know, today I was reminded it's December the 16th.
I know, it's halfway over.
Even if you were to sneeze, it'll be January 31st. So how do we
In
get
no
more
time.
information?
So enterprisekman.ky online. You can follow us on social media if you're still kind of thinking about it. We will be posting reminders. We have an info session as well. That is on the 22nd of January. You can register for that online on the website as well. You can navigate through our social media on Instagram, Facebook. So if you're unsure, you have questions, you can always directly reach out to me at ajm@enterprisekman.ky, innovate@enterprisekman.ky, or you can DM us on Instagram as well. You know, we're trying to make ourselves as accessible as possible to answer any questions. We don't want anybody to have any hesitations. We know there's some great ideas out there that we would really like to help people develop.
Thank you for continuing making this investment and this opportunity and making it accessible
course.
to all of us. Any other thoughts from you, Ms. Diadra, if you wish?
If you have an idea, apply. I think the business design competition is one of those programs that we have where there is nothing to lose. There's just a lot to gain. You don't lose by applying. You literally just gain networks, mentors. You can gain money if you win. And then outside of the grand prize, we also have those sub prizes. You can win up to 2,000 USD from the Community Impact Award, from storytelling if you're really good at your pitch, whether you win or not the project of the year, just by being a good storyteller, you can also win an award. So there's so much that you can gain from applying to this, and the knowledge sharing that's there. So I just think, again, if you have an idea and an initiative, you should apply.
Yeah, you have to be. You do the workshop days are mandatory, so that is a question in the application as well, that you are willing to commit to these days. You know, we've had individuals who have not shown up, and they unfortunately weren't able to get up on stage for pitch day. So we really want you to think about it. You know, when you are making that commitment, it is 3 days. 6 to 8 hours a day, but I promise you it's worth it.
Listen, put in the work, you get the benefit. Thank you both and all the team.
Of course, thank you for having us.
All the very, very best for the remainder of this month, even more for the coming year and decade and century ahead.
Yes.
May it all be not just positive and productive and purposeful, but it be a place where as people we understand the importance of working together. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's pause and take a break. Let me see when I open the door what's on the other side. Want to find out? Well, join me after. Stay tuned.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. CIBC Caribbean has opened its new advisory center in Governor's Harbour, offering premium services and tailored banking solutions. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, CEO Mr. Mark St. Hill highlighted the center's role in revolutionizing banking with advanced technology and personalized service. The new center provides investment and business banking, mortgage processing, and financial health checks, enhancing client experience with modern amenities and innovative solutions. The facility is now open, offering an elevated premium experience. In regional news, Guyana police are investigating the death of Ridley Josephs, the Tashao of the Tesserine village in Middle Mazarini, whose body was found in his hotel room on Monday. Police are searching for clues at the Signature Inn Hotel, and Derek John, the chairman of the Tashasos Council, has not yet been briefed on the situation. Josephs was in Georgetown for the final executive meeting of the NTC, an organization that advocates for indigenous peoples' rights, culture, and social economic development. Recently, Tesserini villagers have had conflicts with local gold miners. The Trinidad and Tobago government has confirmed the death of Lisa Morris Julian, the Minister for the Ministry of Education, who will be remembered as a dedicated voice for her constituency and the government. The government expressed condolences to her family and constituents, highlighting her role as a former mayor of Arima and parliamentary representative. Initial reports indicate a fire at her home in Arima that also claimed 2 other lives, including a 6-year-old child. Prime Minister Rowley and several ministers have traveled to Arima to offer their condolences. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25th, 1947 at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son of Hallen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbets. Like many of the men of his time, he spent many years at sea. During his breaks from sea life, Mr. Dilbert employed his diverse skill sets. He worked at Alfred Scott's block factory as a mechanic with Eston Scott, and his uncle Bergman Dilbert performed dynamite blasting in Cayman Brac with the late Reverend Lee King, as well as worked at MRCU in Grand Cayman. He was also an entrepreneur selling fruits, cars, and tires, and painted and repaired vehicles. His mechanical skills proved immeasurable when in 1979, working in the Campeche Bank oil field, Mexico, his ship was chartered by Halliburton to supply material to cap the exploratory well which blew out in Mexico's Bay of Campeche. In 1981, he retired from sea and took employment with the Cayman Brac Power and Light Company as chief engineer, where he remained until his retirement in December of 2018.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history.
Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thank you for joining us. I would say to you that if we look at where we are in our community, we have two things. One, a lot to be thankful for, as I have tried to be both grateful and gracious, taking example and borrowing a page from others. So let's see if we can do likewise. And two, a recognition that many of us are extremely overwhelmed, burdened, and challenged, and experiencing things that we didn't expect. In our minds, we don't desire, deserve, and unsure how to navigate. So let's draw alongside them. And even when we understand and appreciate that life will come to an end in the physical realm, we never want it to, because that person has been an incredible part of our lives and our communities, and that person is someone that we will forever miss. And whether that is a passing that has been decades and decades ago, or just moments, let's be cognizant of that and be loving and prayerful and kind and as much and best as we can, understanding that especially now, and it's the same no matter what day of the week or what time of the year, but for some this time of the year it can be a little bit more challenging. So if we can, let's be sensitive and sensible in our interactions with people. Oftentimes we're not sure what to say and we try to say something and it's not how we would have intended it, but we still try. So let's see what we can, and for those to whom it's said, maybe appreciate that the person is just trying to help. Now that's not to be negative or that thing that brings others to a space of being a little bit down as it is. Let us also reflect that there's still much to celebrate. So those first two things, a lot to give thanks for, a lot to celebrate and enjoy, but a recognition that as many people at this moment, they can't embrace that as much as they would want. It's their favorite dish or dessert, but they just can't for some reason. They may try, so let's help them, and let's do that hand in hand. The two can exist and they must exist together. Think about your parents, your spouse, your very significant other, that good friend, who for that moment wants to celebrate and cheer and clap, but for some reason the physical is something in their hands or something wrong with their hands, so they can't clap, but they're still there celebrating. Well, as easy as that is to visualize, it may be the same when it's not physical. It may be something otherwise. So let's do that. But in celebrating the achievements, I think the sporting world globally will now look at in the short course, and here is an incredible accomplishment. The first person in history to go on the 20, and to see that celebrated, we draw alongside. Now even closer to home, if we look, and for those who are friends with Jimmy and Faith, and those who watch Jordan and Jillian grow up, who went to school with them or whose children went to school, we can celebrate, and in doing so we can uplift each other. But we also should recognize, and if Jimmy and Faith would allow me and others who have not only been inspired by them but wish to publicly congratulate them, these are parents who invest willingly, lovingly, consistently, prayerfully in their children's lives. And maybe we can stop joining in that banter that we see in this so-called social media, the nonsense on TV that castigate families, decry parents and devalue families. There was not that long ago when in the U.S. Presidential elections in particular, family values were being championed. But when you got people at the helm who are questionable, maybe that needs to change because the society is demanding and now will determine that those things are important. Doesn't mean we don't fail and fall and make missteps and mistakes and have regrets. What it means is that we learn, we pick ourselves up, and sometimes we're helped up by others. So let's celebrate our families. Let's recognize, and as much as we, are so proud of the accomplishments of our athletes, for those for whom the academics, bring great success through scholarships and tuition and the like, we also want to acknowledge that family, or whether that is, mom and dad, or whether that's one individual, whether that's in whatever capacity, that community, that family that draws alongside its young and guides them and nurtures them and protects and provides, and also does the same for our elderly people in our community. And it's no longer lip service. It's about ensuring that, and I say this to you, hopefully you'll guide me. I want you to share. I had an excellent opportunity just over the weekend to be part of an incredible presentation, and two of the individuals in particular, one from the medical sort of sector and the other from, I'm not even quite sure if there's a label of a capture or all the incredible things that she is and does. And so perhaps social sciences might be the easiest way, but she brings a great deal of expertise and experience. The medical side, as I understood it, shared that just like the adult and the parent in particular has to say to the child yes and no and try to explain why, but don't necessarily have to justify it, but also try to instruct and to get the child to understand, but you need to be that person, because biologically the brain, the hormones and all the things that are happening, the child isn't yet fully developed, mentally, physical and all other things to do. So you have to accept the responsibility that you have this obligation to do right by this child, for this child. But also understand that at some point, or whether it's because of some degenerative impact on the brain or the body or what have you, then you, the child, now will have to do for the parent. And so just like the parent was quote unquote firm but fair with the child, you need to do the same. You can't allow the parent to eat, a bowl of candy late at night or any time, and then what your mama would say, eat all that, you get a pea in the belly, or you can spoil your supper. You need to do the same, whatever that thing is, because it could, negatively affect the heart, the arteries, exacerbate that medical condition, interact with the medication, whatever it is. So you, the child, now need to step up into that responsible adult role in ensuring that, as hard as it is to be firm with your parents and say no or insist that something is done safely, lovingly, make sure that they get the bath that is safe, doesn't stay in bed and get the bed sores. And all of us know this, but sometimes we don't, because when we see our parents in that capacity, it's a challenge, and that's putting it mildly. I want you to weigh in on that, and I'll come to that in a second from one perspective, in that if we look at where our country is, if we understand that statistically we may be having an aging population, is that an aging, active, healthy population for whom we have the sort of resources and services available to them to enjoy themselves, to be able to navigate our streets, get into places, not just appointments and social engagements or medical appointments, but be able to do. Can they move about and get about safely? Are we accommodating them? Or are we at risk of neglecting physically and deliberately and consciously, not just unconsciously, abusing them, seeing them as burdens, as instead of what they are, truly incredible treasures? Think about it. At age 50, you may have a life experience that hopefully could teach someone who's 25, simply because you've had 25 more years of life. Whether that's good or bad, you at least have that. And that can be a learning opportunity for the person that is willing to listen, and for the person who's willing to share that life experience. And then the other thing, when we look at where we are in our space, are we ensuring that there are resources, from the money to pay for whatever services and assistance and products and accommodations that will be required of that population. Now, if that is unfolding in our country, are we cognizant? And we may assign labels like, well, it's a socialist economy, or it's this or that. The mere fact is, whether we adopt terminology, as some would say, well, that should be a human right, do we need to dictate and define it in law, or can it be a societal ethos? I can't say with any definitive authority just now, because I have not consciously made time to read what is unfolding right now. But it wasn't that long ago where in Japan in particular, they were able to demonstrate to the world that a primary school age child, to put it in our parlance, at a very young age, could leave home, navigate the subway and the other sort of what is truly public transport, and get safely to the school and other places, because one, they were taught, and two, there was a social consciousness that the child would be safe. Contrast that to North America and other places where even on the front porch or in the backyard, not just even in the neighborhood, that child was perceived to be unsafe. Not just because of some stranger danger, but sadly, that known familiar person, sometimes family, would cause risk, or were perceived to cause risk, or were told would cause risk. Now that's a significant difference between societies. Which one are we? Which one do we want? Now, it is not to, say that it's gloom and doom. It's to be able to address something because we're acknowledging it. So I want to hear from you as we look forward with great sense of celebration and expectation, hopeful, mindset of good. We got to be active, and we got to be engaged. We got to ensure that what we're doing works. And it's not about politics, because everything, like economics, is political. But what is about a society not accepting some of the behaviors that are unfolding in our communities because we're willing to turn a blind eye to it. Now, if that's political, so be it, because it has a meaningful impact. So what's on your mind? Tell me the good and the bad. Question the obvious, ignored though, and be oblivious to it, or just share. 949-837, 949-6990. WhatsApp call if you so choose at 925-32621. Let's be a part of all that is good. It's not just about fun. It's about fellowship. It's not just about food. It's about family. It's about connecting. It's about community. It's about that sense of coming together. So 949-837, 949-6990. WhatsApp call 925-32621 if you want to share. And I know a lot of individuals are, fearing that they will not necessarily have the resources, financial and otherwise, to be able to give what they would like. And despite, you give call to time, that may be the most valuable thing. But for some, it's just, nice words, because at the end of the day, not only do they want to give something that has a material value, they know that despite what is said, the person at the end of the day want to receive the same. Question is, what is valuable to us? All right, let's pause, take that quick break. When we come back, share with us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This holiday season, Subway is serving up something sweet. Introducing the Footlong Cookie. It's ooey gooey and packed with chocolate chip perfection. The ultimate sweet sidekick to your favorite sub, salad, pizza, or catering platter. Whether you're treating yourself or sharing the joy, the Footlong Cookie is the perfect bite of holiday cheer. But don't wait. This limited time delight won't last forever. Visit one of their 7 locations, 4 of which are open 24 hours, and grab your foot-long chocolate chip cookie. Because who says dessert can't go the extra mile? Subway, fresh for the holidays.
December is here, but there's still time for that Miami trip before Christmas. Cayman Airways has added several extra flights from Grand Cayman to Miami, perfect for a weekend getaway and to catch that increased duty-free allowance for Cayman residents. But hurry, word is getting round, so those extra seats not going to last long. Book your Miami seats online at CaymanAirways.com or call them on 949-2311. All aboard Cayman Airways with extra flights to Miami before Christmas.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
This holiday season, give the gift of sport and style. Winter Circle Sports has everything you need. Quality brands and unbeatable prices on the latest gear. New Christmas stock just arrived. Score big with European Football League jerseys from Adidas, Nike, Air Max, and Dunks. Jordan shoes and clothing. Vans, Authentics, and old school styles. Graphic tees and Levi jeans. Plus, take the advantage of early bird Christmas special. Enjoy 10% off gift cards and make holiday shopping even easier. Find them at 12 Walkers Road, Georgetown. Winter Circle Sports, always a step ahead.
Kirk Freeport's annual $40,000 Christmas sweepstakes is back once again. Simply spend $100 at your favorite Kirk Freeport store to enter to win one of 3 $5,000 cash prizes, one of 5 $1,000 cash prizes, and loads of other great prizes throughout December. And of course, the one you're all waiting for, the Rolex watch prize draw for all entries will be held on January 3rd. All purchases of $100 at any Kirk Freeport store before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. Full details on KirkFreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. It's a Monday and I hope you were, able to be a part of our continuing programming here on Radio Cayman. I hope you are able to follow our proceedings of the legislative, of Parliament. I do apologize for that. It's not intentional. I don't like to misspeak. I also don't like, things that are inaccurate. So let me get it there. Now, increasingly, and I'll try, despite the temptation, to not deliberately and directly engage in any political conversation. But of course, if you wish, we know that this time of year, especially on going into an election, we know campaigning seems to ramp up, and we're seeing, postings of everything and lots of things that are almost par for the course. And yet, as a society, as it happens, we comment on it, not always positively. And if it doesn't happen, we comment on it and go, I wonder where they think they're going. Well, that makes it challenging because perhaps the lack of objectivity, the impartialness, but also the genuineness. Take, for instance, downtown Georgetown. It used to be that when you, especially on the waterfront, you would, before 7 a.m., before the town came to life, as it were, the place was spick and span, and end of the day, the same. And now, whether it's a weekend or it's midday during the week, we see not just leaves, but we see garbage. And that's not said to malign anyone or any business or any sector. It's just a consciousness of maybe what is happening across our country. And if we were to look at that, is there something that we can do about it? Not just to restore that sense of pride in our country, but to ask ourselves, have we got so accustomed to it that now we walk past, not only do we turn a blind eye to it, we certainly refuse to pick up the trash, we even consciously toss whatever it is that we have in our hands or out our cars because we don't care anymore. Is that what is happening? It doesn't matter if we say, well, that's them. Well, it reflects on all of us. Let's go to the phones and welcome this caller. Nope. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I am sorry. Maybe I need to put my chair a little bit higher so I can see over the counter. So, my good friend, as they say in some parts, lo siento, huh? I'm so sorry. Hey, 949 6990 949 8037, and certainly, let me see if I can read this. All right, let's read this as it comes, and let's not comment on it. Let's leave you. It says afternoon, and this is from one of our listeners. Says, please read on the show. We are happy to hear that the majority of MPs shot down the 2% taxes in land owned by expats. If that had started, it would be the beginning of downfall for these islands. Maybe 2% added to one-time stamp duties for expats could do a lot less harm, but should never have a yearly tax on property. Thanks to that listener for not just listening, but for taking an opportunity and sharing a thought. And let me ask you, if you want to weigh in on that or anything else, what do you think? Now, we know many other places have similar taxes or fees on properties and others. Is that where we want to go? And as this listener shares, that may not be a good thing. Now, two things came to mind, and I had it in my hand, and I need to find where I put it down. But one individual over the weekend had shared it, and pretty sure I came into the office sometime on Saturday, and I thought I put it down, so I'll have it today. Remember, not long ago, Honorable W. McKeever Bush had suggested what I think was called a payroll tax, and then there was an outcry from sectors and in the community, and that didn't go anywhere. But this individual also reminded me that in December 1984, his view, the first act as a newly minted member of the Legislative Assembly, as we now call it MPs, was to remove a similar tax that we use for housing and the like. And here we are from 1984 to 2024, thinking about doing something similar to reinstitute something that Mr. Jim and Mr. Haig had put in place according to what this individual reminded us, and gave me a copy of the piece of legislation and the motion from the Hansards of the day. Now, it might have been good to jumpstart the economy. It may be, as he alleged, was the motivation for it, and he shared. It's not about castigating anyone. It's about recognizing sometimes that we are well-intentioned, but we may go about it in the wrong way for the wrong reasons. We, the collective we, I think he was emphasizing. We may do something and realize that we can't undo it, or we may undo something to only appreciate that sometime down the road, it turns out not to be the thing that we should have done or in the way or at the time. And he emphasized that in the discussion that I referenced earlier, where the medical person speaking to the group talked about the physiological, the biological impact on people, and you as a parent, having to do this for your child, and then as a child having to do this for your parent. Once a man, twice a child, they say. And then this individual, probably best described as being the sort of the social sciences, she shared that if we look at what is happening in our country, we are allowing so much to unfold that we're losing the thing that keeps us stable, the political, the economic, but most importantly, the social stability. The constant cry from many that there are too many Honda Fits on the road. Now, I was asking you because I listened to a very heated exchange. I referenced the two individuals, and I say I would like to just mention it on air because you guys are car enthusiasts, and some of us, we're not quite sure, whether that's the engine we're looking at or it's the steering wheel. Some of us might know the difference, but that's about it. And one said to the other, it's not the car, it's the driver. It's the inability of the driver, the lack of consideration, care, and attention of the driver. Now, yes, some cars can go faster than other cars. Some cars accelerate more quickly, but doesn't have the level of top speed and all those things. But it isn't the vehicle. He reminded the other fellow that there was similarly, in the early 2000s, I think he said, where it was then the Honda Accord or a similar type vehicle that was the bad guy of the day. Not unlike his earlier years when it was the American muscle car that was the bad car, because that car was fast. The Honda Accord in the early 2000s was the car that seemed like came somewhat, did he say souped up? But equipped to go a little faster. Now, he has, reason that again we're going to ban Honda Fits or talking about it without asking, well, what is the qualifications of the driver? What are the sensibilities of the driver behind that vehicle? And is it that the vehicle is driving itself, or is it the inability, the lack of expertise and experience and all the other things that make the roads safe because of the operator of that conveyance? Yep, that's the word he used. And he said whether it's the four-wheeled vehicle, or whether it's a bicycle that you're pedaling, whether it's electrically propelled and or assisted by your feet, or whether it's something that you stand on and push, or whether you're running or walking, that person in control of that thing determines to what extent there's an element of unsafeness. He gave us an example. He's driving along. There's a fella up ahead who is walking. Now, he's not sure whether he's rushing to get somewhere or he's exercising. When asked why he couldn't tell the difference, he says, well, the type of shoes being worn would not indicate that the person was exercising. Nonetheless, the person then starts to run and runs parallel, right, to the cars, and then accelerates diagonally across the lanes almost into oncoming traffic. And you thought, well, who's at fault there? The drivers who are coming, or this person for seemingly running not in a way that you would cross straight across the road, but diagonally from one side to the next? That probably would have increased the distance maybe, but certainly putting the person at risk, because running in the direction of the flowing traffic against oncoming traffic to cross from one side to the other, whose fault is it? And I want to ask you to help me, because then they started to have that exchange as to, well, the driver should be careful because the pedestrian, that physical individual, would be at risk. More than likely, the two colliding, the human would probably find that the metal may not sustain as much injury, damage, pain, suffering. The driver of that vehicle might have a lot of anguish because now someone has been hurt, irrespective of who's at fault. The two of them had an interesting exchange, as we observe, and the takeaway is that we're not willing to listen and to reason and to rationalize. So what is your thought relative to our behaviors just on our roads about the type of vehicle? Is it the vehicle is the problem, or is it the operator of the vehicle? And what about us as pedestrians, not just cyclists? What role do we have as road users? Whether we're riding a bicycle that is only assisted by pedal power, whether it's, somehow has a motor or electrically charged or otherwise, or it's a moped or motorbike or something else. Where does that play into the scheme of things, and what are our responsibilities, and what role relative to the consequence that we play as the operators of that conveyance, as he put. And he only say that because increasingly the traffic is getting worse. Maybe more people are visiting, maybe more people have a little more time, maybe more people are taking more time to go about, their Christmas errands and shopping and the like. Now, it isn't, as he said, much more that the police can and perhaps should be expected to do when some of the things that happen that create issues happen in absence of policing and their initiatives and operations and the like, but they have to respond to it. They can't, predict it and be there to prevent it. They have to respond to it after the occurrence. Just like he shared, there's a stoplight, a stop sign. Are we obeying that? Even when we're stopped at it, do we carefully, cautiously, and with consideration then move from that stop position despite, having the right of way because the light is green, but looking and seeing that someone else is ignoring the red light and still coming through? Yeah, we may have had the green light literally to go through. It was legally, in the right. But now an accident has occurred because the other vehicle, for whatever reason, perhaps just being distracted and inattentive, maybe believing that they don't have to stop, that red light, the stop sign doesn't apply to them, has caused an accident. An incident doesn't change the fact that something has happened. So, as you go into the break, two things. Think about it. Give us a shout, 949-8037, 949-63990. WhatsApp call, 925-32621. And then secondly, ask yourselves, whether you call or not, what level of responsibility are you willing to embrace, both in your actions and inactions, and equally, as you speak to those in your circle, from partner and spouse to child and sibling, and saying, hey, let's be a little more conscious and considerate and careful. Let's be a little bit more deliberate in ensuring that what we're doing adds value and creates a safer and better space. Stay tuned and share with me as we return.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I will be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Thursday the 19th December right up until Christmas Eve. Check kirkfreeport.com to see my daily schedule. I will be in my grotto in the afternoon each day, but earlier on Christmas Eve, Santa will have a special gift and sweet treats for every boy and girl, and Christmas music filling the air. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
The holidays, a time for family, togetherness, and cherishing every moment. But it's also a time to reflect on what truly matters. Hi, I'm Rosanna Dixon. This season, give the gift of security and peace of mind with life insurance, critical illness coverage, and final expense plans. You can ensure your loved ones are protected, no matter what tomorrow brings. Call Rosanna Dixon today at 547-0952. Make those important decisions now so your family's future is safe tomorrow. Because this holiday season, protecting what matters most is the greatest gift of all. Call 547-0952 today.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Williams Productions proudly presents the 2024 Gospel Fest. This year, bringing you award-winning artists Jeff and Sherry Easter.
Over and over, again and again, God is faithful.
Alongside the incredible Marshall Hall.
Thanks, I give you thanks.
All live in concert December 31st at First Baptist Church. Gates open at 6 p.m. Concert starts at 7. So come early and get ready for a night of unforgettable music. Tickets are $25 pre-sale or $35 at the gate. Funds raised will help to support Inclusion Cayman. Grab yours today at Funky Tanks or the Cayman Islands Conference. Celebrate, sing, and start your new year right at Gospel Fest 2024. Don't miss it. The 2024 Gospel Fest is proudly sponsored by Office of the Premier, Cayman First, Health City, Hydes and Sons, Value Med Pharmacy, Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture, Uncle Clem's, Physiotherapy Center, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, Praise 87.9, Ministry of Tourism and Ports, and Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for the messages. For those of you who are out and about, we want you to get through. We want you to be safe. We want you to be happy. We want you to be healthy. As we take this next call, we want to invite you to call and share as well. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
You can't be watching your cameras in that radio station?
Probably not. Tell me why. What I would see if I was.
Oh, just a bunch of bad driving and everybody cutting through gas stations and parking lots. And then when you look at it and right back up in your face, you made it no further than I did.
I'm so glad that you shared it the way you have, but it is... How can we speak to that? Because it is something that many people like you are doing now, express concern for not just the the nature was happening, but the unsafe way that we are moving about our streets and using gas stations, to cut through, as we say, it's making it unsafe for everybody.
Yeah, businesses, they're cutting through. Do you know, in the States, it's against the law to drive to the gas station to go on to another road if you didn't get gas from that gas station? You get a ticket.
Yeah, I believe it is. I mean, I understand it is. Yeah.
I know. When I live there, I know.
Yeah.
But Sterling, places are closing down. The schools, they are closed now, and people on vacation and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why we would come out here and try to rush the traffic just to get a gift and all that kind of stuff. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But Sterling, I don't say the Cayman needs to open 24/7. Cayman cannot run like this forever. It is too much going on. The population, look here, I can't even get to the light now because then they got the intersection blocked off.
That's the other practice.
Something
Yeah.
normal. They're always doing that, blocking off the intersection.
Mm-hmm.
But Sterling, we cannot continue to run this island like this because it's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people here. Everybody's rushing into the grocery stores, the gas stations, and the little 9-to-5 stores to buy something, and they get late for the job and get off the warning letters and threats and all that kind of stuff. But it's okay to come outside and smoke a cigarette for 5 minutes.
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, I think in many sectors and many employees, they are working 24/7. Right? I look at, if they would, and as an advertiser, I really came on the Reflections group. Their businesses, they have businesses that are 24 hours a day, right?
Some of them, yes.
But maybe in addition to that, perhaps we could consider the way we go to work, not just whether. And we have another caller on the other line that we'll take in a sec, right? But I want you to feel as invited and welcome, not rush. But is it being able to utilize either that remote working, so we're not all on the roads at the same time, whether staggered times or home-based work, or whether it is, as many jurisdictions now are considering, this 4-day work week, where you have that day outside of the work day. Now, that's not going to be for every company or for every employee, but maybe we need to be a little more innovative. But I think something you just alluded to that we keep saying and we know, but we're not doing. We need to be a little bit more sensible. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And when I say going 24 hours, say for example, right, the heavy equipment trucks, they're towing off the trailers going to various stores to stock up, understand? And also the bulldozers. And these guys in this long bid drawing the bulldozers, or just a bulldozer on the road driving and holding up traffic and all that kind of stuff. I think those things should be done at night. If you know you got to use a bulldozer on your job site tomorrow morning, why you can't take it there in the night time and then go to work and do your job?
But this is where I think
understand?
I agree with you. And the practice before, people like Mr. Jess and Ray and all those individuals in the past, they would move their equipment outside of those hours, and then when they show up to work the next day, whether that's 5 or 7 o'clock in the morning, they're ready to go. They're not starting at that time, getting delayed in traffic as they're causing traffic. But again, consideration. I'm saying more of us need to be sensible. Why are we blocking up intersections? Why are we running red lights? Why are we not thinking about what we're doing and then rushing out? Not that it doesn't happen at times that we forget something, need to do something, but a little bit more consideration.
Sterling, who you think would have to do something in regards to that? What part of the government would have to come up and say, something? We need to change some things here on this island, because then don't care how many lanes we get, it ain't working.
Yeah.
The lanes is just more cars.
Right.
That's all the lanes are bringing. I'm going to buy me a car now because we got 3 lanes and blah, 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 blah. That is not the solution to our streets.
Yeah. I may be inclined to venture an answer to your question, right? And my only hesitation is personal. But I would say on a cursory, just quick response, it's a 2-pronged approach. One, there may be need for both legislation and then the concomitant enforcement of that. But I would want it to be above that, the societal norm that we do or not do. If we're doing something that isn't right, we stop it because it's the societal pressure being made to bear on people. Like littering, for instance, we can have a $50 million fine for littering. If it's not enforced, it's of no use. If it's enforced and people say, oh, here's 50 million, and they don't care, and they'll go to jail, not paid or whatever. But if society says, hey, we're not going to even toss that cigarette butt or that, ash from the cigarette or that candy wrapper or that household garbage,
that chewing gum paper,
whatever, if the society isn't going to accept that, whatever that is, then you don't need the legislation. Then you don't need to spend the resources from the personnel to the money in enforcement. And that's not being naive. There are many large countries for whom those things happen because the society dictates and demands and ensures that it does. But let me hear what else you have to share, and then we take the next call, okay?
Yeah, talking about the streets and so forth and garbage down going back up east down there by Medak and going east.
Yeah.
Some truck was crossing with limbs and so forth and branches, and there's some of them in the road right now. We need these lawn guys to tie down their material.
Yeah.
Or get a proper I don't know what a proper thing would be for a lawn man to do, but no more than cover it up and tie it down. We got guys doing these lawn trucks, and they're just making the stuff fly.
Yeah.
And they don't have to have that much more to take off when they get where they're going.
Well, could that be deliberate, right? That's just inadvertent, maybe inconsiderate. But with that, I really want to, once again, I've said it a number of times, and I was so impressed with it because it's what I would expect. The Department of Environment, the DEH, 2 of their staff members, many weeks ago, was on the road. The vehicle was properly secured. One little thing blew out the back. They saw it. They stopped very responsibly, very appropriately, picked the thing up, put it back in the vehicle, checked it, made sure it was good, and contrast that to what you just shared, where people let it blow out and they keep blowing, and when they get where they're going, there's nothing left empty.
Yeah, apparently a brand new door blew off of somebody's truck going out there by Lion Center this morning.
Oh, okay.
It's in the middle of the road and the glass all mashed up.
Wow.
I mean, you cannot put stuff in the back of your truck and no tie it down and cover it up. Yeah,
well,
but anyhow, you're going to take care of your next call. We catch up.
All right. Thank you again. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
You too. Good,
all right.
good.
Thank you. And with that, let's take the other call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, Sterling. Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Not bad. Thankful, you.
Oh, man, I am indeed very thankful. And even if things were not how I would like them to be, I'm going to work hard to make sure I'm as grateful and gracious as I can be.
Okay. Well, I'm calling you about, they have some Jamaican, but different nationalities up here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear some people around the neighborhood complaining that they're living by Pastor Oral since he talked. The people said they talked to him. He not doing nothing about them. They're walking about without permit. They're driving without license.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got some quarry that over here where they dig up, put bush on top of it, put rocks around it. And it all clear up. They now look like they park up, but they're now ready to fix it back. Look like some cows went over there and dig it up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of JJ trucks is there. I try to call JJ with the little Jamaican guy up in it, look like.
Mm-hmm.
I called the police, talk to them. The police are gone to them. So I try and find out what else I can do. I got called, go see the commissioner or what.
And just, even without speaking specifically, and just listening to you, it comes down to, again, what seems to be a willingness for society generally to accept certain things that maybe at one time not long ago was either uncommon or not accepted. So if you're sharing that things are happening and there's no seemingly space to have it addressed, what do we do about that? You've seemed to have called all the requisite people. If we're turning a blind eye for it to continue, whether it's an illegal quarry or dumping or working without requisite authorization, that's on us as a society to to address. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Then, when you talk to the politician, you talk to the police, you talk to DH, there ain't nobody doing nothing but it.
But why?
And I think the piece of land is for Noel Conley, as far as I understand it.
Okay, so you've made some inquiries based on what you think, and to your acknowledgement now, nobody is seemingly accepting responsibility to acknowledge it or willing to do anything about it.
It look that way.
Again.
But it look like they want good people turn bad.
Okay, so that may be an unfortunate consequence. So before that happens, what do we do about it?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, and your comments shouldn't just lead to rhetorical questions. I think we need to ask ourselves, what is happening? Is it a fear on our part to see something and say, no, that's not how it is, let me show you and correct it because the person is too bigoted to take instruction? Is it a fear on our part that if we correct it, there'll be a backlash of some sort? I mean, what is happening?
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and if you are identifying something that is accurate, it's now transpiring, so it's timely, it's not after the fact, and we as a community either castigate you or others who bring it to light for whatever reasons, and we don't accept it. That little thing today is laid to become a bigger thing at another point. Maybe it can be addressed now, nipped in the bud, we like to say. All of a sudden, we ignore it, and then it becomes a really bad thing. Very much like how the physician, she tells us, don't ignore your health. You had a little issue, get it checked out. We leave it, and then all of a sudden now it's kind of late, or it's a lot worse. So what do we do?
Yeah, but you see another thing now, the police, they put up these signs, see something, say something. But when you say something, they don't act that, they don't pay you no mind. What you say?
I wonder about that. I wonder if that's something we borrowed from some other place after some incident happened.
It can't be from here, Sterling. It can't be.
It's not about see something, say something. It's about, acknowledging, addressing, and correcting. Right? You're a parent and you see your child reaching up to pull the pot from the stove. Not only, hopefully, you would have been mindful not to do that, but you would have made sure that you keep a close eye on the child so that doesn't happen, or B, you've more importantly constantly keeping that space safe and sharing with your child why you don't do these things and what the consequence would be. Is it that we believe that children are allowed to raise themselves? We believe that things can happen in a vacuum and nobody is affected by it? I'm just asking, I mean, what is it, like you said, going to take for us to return to a sense of, sensibility and sensitivity and sensibleness and all those good things, right?
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you sharing that. And let's pray that the good people don't turn bad either by action or by ignoring and addressing what needs to be fixed and corrected. So let's keep it in positive, productive, purposeful mindset. All right.
Yeah, but that what it looking for look like.
Yeah. Can we invite you as you continue to seek out the people that you think should be in a position to do something, either because they own the land, they're working with the people, they're the enforcers as DH, planning, police, whatever the government entity is. Let us know what progress you make, okay? But do it.
It's been going on for months now, Sterling.
Yeah.
Nothing making here.
Right. So that will lead me to what I was going to say. Finally, don't be discouraged by the initial sort of delay in getting it addressed. But very importantly, don't allow it to make you so inflamed and incensed that your actions or words or whichever lead you to a space that is not normally who you are, right? I know it can be challenging. So keep pressing on, my friend. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon again. The caller highlights a lot of things that we have acknowledged. We're going to pause, and when we come back to the other call in the queue, we'll join you right after.
since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Cayman right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Sterling Ebanks. A 30-year-old man is heading to court today facing firearm charges. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says the man was picked up at Dolphin Plaza on Eastern Avenue around 3:30 a.m. on Friday by the Firearms Response Unit officers on patrol. He was stopped and searched, and after quote behaving suspiciously, a search of the surrounding areas as well as the man recovered a loaded handgun. They also found a quantity of white powdery substance resembling cocaine on him. The Northside man has been arrested on possession of an illegal firearm as well as drug-related offenses. He remains in custody. In regional news in Bahamas, Justice Carla Stubbs sentenced Philip Mitchell to 2 years and Brenda Mitchell to 1 year in prison for threatening and harassing Supreme Court Justices Indra Charles and Diane Stewart. A permanent injunction prevents Mitchells and Stan Bahamas from harassing the justices and their families and from publishing related materials. The ruling follows contempt proceedings initiated by the Attorney General's office. Justice Stubbs will release the ruling's reasons later. Stan Bahamas, which operates a YouTube channel, had previously been involved in a mortgage dispute case ruled in favor of the Finance Corporation of the Bahamas Ltd. by Justice Charles in 2021. In Grenada, delegates in the new National Party convention elected Emmeline Pierre as the first woman to lead the party. Pierre, previously served as the public relations officer, is joined by new deputy leader Norland Cox. The convention, held on the 15th of December, was overdue by 2 years. Dr. Keith Mitchell, who led the party since 1989, will now serve as chairman, with Gregory Bowen as deputy chairman. The elections faced accusations of unfairness from former Assistant General Peter David, who withdrew from the leadership race, citing a lack of transparency and legality. That is your latest headlines. I'm Sterling Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and we go straight to our phones. Hey, thanks for calling. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon, Sterling. How are you doing?
Hey, listen, can I publicly apologize to you, man? I have been meaning to reach out to you. Not just invite you, but just have a conversation, so sorry.
I know it's that time of year, and I know everybody is busy. It's open mic, right?
Yeah, man. Are you going to sing for us?
No.
Okay, so it's open mic then. If you guys sing, I'll say no.
I don't want to punish our Radio Cayman loyal listeners with me singing.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you would, I would join you. That way, we have nobody to blame.
Yeah. Double the punishment.
There you go. Hey, it's Christmas. Double points, right?
No, just a few things I would like to touch. I'll try to touch on them very briefly because I know you got other callers or you got the show and all that stuff. But,
thank you. No problem. Thank you.
A few things, right? One, there is a lot of push for the cruise berthing facility and the question on the referendum. That's one. Two, we've seen the headlines where they touted at the $38 million payout for the removal of the Regen project, and certainly these are some of the aspects that we need to pay attention to, right? Because a lot of people are not really fully aware of the mechanisms of some of these things, right? Now, all I can say is this: let's just look at the high, and then of course you had the 2% tax that Chris Saunders wanted to levy on some properties so that they can use that money to pay for insurance and some other things. But the reality is that in some of these things we need to properly, analyze and go about and think about how we can go about implementation of these things. There are other things that could be done that doesn't have the impacts of others in order to get revenue generated. But when I look at the $38 million, let's just say hypothetically, Sterling, that we have to pay that as a country, right, to exit this project. Two things, right? One, it's a project that went up in cost exponentially, and to the point where the legislators had to say, okay, we need to stick a pin and have another look at this thing, right? So it went from a couple $100 million to upward towards close to $2 billion.
Sorry, $2 billion?
Well, it was
1.9. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's on the far end of $2 billion. So instead of saying $1 billion, it'd be easier to say $2 billion because it's 1.9. It's not 1.1.
Wow.
So
okay.
if you round it off to the nearest 10, it's $2 billion.
Wow. Okay.
So if we look at that, and I'm speaking hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
if we look at that, and then we measure the $38 million to the 1.9 billion, $2 billion, that's a small price to pay. However,
Mm-hmm.
we look at the $50 million high school that has been approved, funds have been approved to build in the BRAC. We could have taken $38 million out of that 50, left us with 12, and we could have renovated the old high school, and we would have been all right.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we look at the Auditor General's report and we see where FEMA is getting ready to spend $9.5 million to renovate and outfit a place over at Cricket Square, I'm saying to myself, why are we spending all this money to outfit an office in a building that we don't own? So when we look at the allocation of funds and the expenditure of some of these government departments, and then we got people using this $38 million to exit the regen project, not looking at the big picture, saying, well, you know what, we may have just saved $1.8 billion, but and we using that as a political football. I mean, I saw Miss Wilkes, who was the former minister for that portfolio, who was the minister at the time responsible for removing the regen off the table. I heard her ask a few questions to the now minister, John Seymour, in regards to the $38 million, and I'm asking myself, well, wait a minute, you were just a minister 2 months ago, and then if you had dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, that's a question that you should know the answer to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is where I get frustrated with the political footballing when it comes to keep people's livelihood. People in the Cayman Islands are struggling and they're suffering, and some people don't have a place to live, some people don't have food on the table, and some people don't have both. But yet we got politicians playing political football and people's emotions. This stuff got to stop.
Can I mean, if you have a minute, and thank you always for sharing your comments publicly. I think we can say whether or not what you're saying is 100% accurate or it's conjecture on your part, and it stimulates conversation. And if I can say it clearly, I'm grateful that you're willing to stand behind what you shared, because it makes us think, right? So thank you for being a public advocate and for doing the research and trying to, I don't want to say necessarily educate us, that's what you're doing, but helping us to think. So if it's okay, thanks for that. All right.
No, and no problem, and you're welcome. And I don't say these things because, if I could have wrote it down and submitted the information to you, and no one had to know who asked the question,
right,
I would be okay with that too.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, sir. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, man. Thank you. And you're just inspired. You go ahead and I'll listen, because I want to ask you something, but you go ahead. Thank you.
No. Yeah. So my thing is that, when we look at these things, and we have to ask ourselves the question, how important it is to build a $50 million high school in the BRAC when we could use those funds to properly exit a project that might have saddled us with a $2 billion debt, and yet we would have still had funds on the table. If you take the $12 million out, if you take the $50 million, give the artist $38 million. I'm speaking hypothetically because I don't think it's $38 million. Anyway, we give the artist $38 million. We got 12 left. You can take the $9 million that FEMA planned to spend to outfit an office at Cricket Square, and you combine that, and you back up to $20-something million. So I think we'd be in good shape. But are we willing to do the sensible thing here, the thing that is more logical and makes sense?
Yeah.
Are we willing to do that, or are we all so caught up in buying political emblems so we can put our names on them? I don't subscribe to that, because my grandchildren are not going to be able to survive in an environment that is laced with political emblems at no value,
Right.
at the full cost of the future generations.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful how we go about doing these things and allowing some of these things to happen. You know?
Exactly. So there are four things from what you shared. First off, I agree with you, at least it's in my personal preference and perspective, that sometimes the thing you want to share is better in writing, but many times is as you're doing now. Let me say it, because sometimes the writing may be, misconstrued, and it's probably better to say it more immediately. So thank you for saying it, because then we can hear it, right?
Well, not everybody's readers, right? But everybody's listeners.
That is it.
So
sometimes
you have to say it, and I can tell you, writing it down don't have the volume.
Exactly.
Don't have the volume and the character when you say it.
But it also isn't as immediate. It isn't also conveying the level of emotion, because it will, I think, reflects much the reader as the reader, right? Publicly or personally. So when you say it, that to me gives it a greater sway.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'll just end. I'll end with saying this in regards to that particular topic. I'll just say this: the ex-minister who is now playing Q&A about the same ministry you just gave up. I mean, if those things were so pressing and so important to the landscape and the consequences of the public, why you didn't stay there and fight it all the way through? Yeah. Why you didn't stay in there and put on your battle helmet and your cape on and say, look, no matter how hard this is, I'm going to see this all the way through. Right. Now, I don't need you asking questions in LA now and having meetings trying to explain to us why you exited. Now, that aside, when we look at the implications that are going to happen because of poor negotiators on the people's behalf, because we live in their consequences, we live in the consequences created by their actions, which is our legislators. So when I listened to the debate, and I know it was voted down, the 2% taxes that Chris wanted to add to, some different property or developments and people who want to buy property in Cayman, that may sound like a noble idea to take that money and pay for insurance and help, and that's a great idea. But our entire financial industry is built almost solely on the idea that we are tax-free. Yeah. And 60% of the middle class in Cayman is employed by the financial service industry. And we must be careful how we use the term tax, because tax is like the Constitution. It's a forever evolving door. So people may say that uses the financial services in the Cayman Islands to do their business and have their companies here. They may say, oh, well, if they did taxes for that, that's just an evolving door. If they need more money to generate something, they're going to just keep taxing things. Now, that may not be the case, but that will be the perception.
Yeah.
And that may be detrimental to our financial service industry. So we have to be careful. But if Chris Saunders wanted to help the insurance companies in the Cayman Islands, why the government not put stricter regulations and stronger policies and have a watchdog to make sure that insurance companies are not raping the Caymanian people, which is what most of them are doing.
Right.
Because you think you're covered right until you need them. And then you hear that you're not covered. I have an aunt that's in the grave right now, and they don't all get me open on that topic because she was not adequately covered after paying insurance all her life.
Yeah.
She had to go get a loan from government to pay for her operation, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. But to your point, though, and again, that is unfortunately something that many of us can relate to, because it's happened to us or our loved ones. So I sincerely saddened to know that happens in our communities, right? So our love and respect to you and to your loved aunt, Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But to that point, when, as MP Saunders has referenced the SEMA reports and talking about how much money, the 13 million or whatever the sum is, and you back out however much is the Syndical profit, well, that's really not profit, because that's almost like a transfer payment. That's being paid significantly by government. So how much of that is non-government rev? But that aside, wasn't there not long ago when the health insurance sector publicly started to lament that they're being castigated because of all the profits they're making. That seems to sharply contrast with the SEMA report that seemingly there's not a lot of money that is being made. Now, is that a public perception and the truth is in the report, or is it something different? Again, maybe more discussion, more investigation.
Right.
But the three things that I wanted to ask of you quickly, if you would.
Sure.
I'm increasingly hearing, and I just want to see if there's a perception or if there's an accuracy to it. What was the proposed $50 million school? Matt Brown did it fantastic in his play the other day. Is now a $75 million school. Is that just people rounding, or is that some element of their proposed expenditure to your knowledge?
Well, I will say this, and I'll leave it, and I'll leave on that topic. I'll leave it there on that topic.
Okay.
How many capital projects that we have actually encountered that we've done in the Cayman Islands that we didn't overspend?
Okay.
Name one.
I'll be hard pressed to think of one, but yeah.
The airport being the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll leave that to the
Fair enough.
imaginations of the people who can look at the writing on the wall and see the track record that government dollar only worth 25 cents.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. That's fair. And then the last two things then, you mentioned something that is very salient. The political football where politicians, seemingly depending on what side of the fence they're on at that particular time or what's perceived to be political expedient to do. And they play football with our lives and livelihoods and government projects and their campaigning and whichever. But to what extent we the voters are going to stand and say, wait a minute now, as you're doing, you're not asking questions, you're demanding accountability, you are stepping up and being responsible. How can we get us, especially going into an election in April, us the voters, to be more actively informed and engaged and insisting that we're doing as you shared? Why spend 10 million on something that you don't own? Why spend 50 million on something when maybe you could spend 100 million and get 4 times the amount, or spend 5 million and get a whole lot better, whatever the thing is, or not spend it at all, or whichever? How do we get us asking those questions and demanding that accountability as voters?
Well, I guess my answer to that would be just strictly my opinion.
Right.
For everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What I do understand, based on everything that I have witnessed, I've experienced, and I've read, and I've had the ability to research. I find that most people are razzle dazzled by the fluff, by the tangible thing that politicians build, and then they have these spin-offs of people who get work from these things. And then those people become the mouthpieces of the projects, which seemingly it comes in like a good thing. When really and truly, when we boil it all the way down to the bone marrow and we look at it and we say, oh man, gee, we could have done this a whole lot. We could have got this done, but a whole lot different. And could have saved a lot more money. It would have been more impactful. And timing is everything.
Right.
So when we look at the $50 million high school, right, in Cayman Brac, that's going to probably house 200 students max. And we look at the current situation, and do we really continue to question ourselves, or do we continue to question government? How do we get to a comfortable zone? Because we need to have the constant awareness. If it hadn't been for platforms like yourself, other platforms, so everybody has a contributing factor. Whether some is negative, some is positive, the fact still remain that you have platforms that can create that awareness. People have to self-educate themselves. They have to be willing to listen and think with an open mind to say, okay, it's not because this entity said it means that's actually how it is. That's why debates are great for the country, because you not only get to talk about a topic, you get to hear about various scenarios on how that topic can either be done or not be done to benefit the interests of the people. So whenever you have a topic such as this, it can be open debate. Now, the question is, Sterling, how many people are listening and how many people are actually understanding it? Because most people that vote, and this is where we need an educated democracy, most people that vote depends on the person in which convinced them to vote for them to carry out the responsibilities that was written within their manifesto that they convince people to vote them for. So So unless we have accountability clause within the Constitution that can have a callback clause or a removal clause of a sitting duly elected politician who has not done their duty and living up to the things that they convince people to vote for them for, we'll always have politicians sitting on our ability for 4 years because there's nothing you can do until election day come. And then by that time, you got a brand new set of people who can come in with the same ideas but all colored in a different pile of color, and you think that you're doing change, but you're really not changing anything.
Yeah, you just yeah.
So with the absence of having constitutional order to call back politicians or to remove them before they term up, you can always have these politicians who dance around the idea of doing what's in the best interest of the people.
Right.
So,
all right, the fourth thing that I want to ask through you and of you, if at all possible, I was again reminded over the weekend in the presentation that I shared it earlier, and I will investigate it, but if I could ask you to assist if you have time. Presumably, and this was not, I think I can say this without fear of contradiction, not just because of the emphasis the individual placed on it, but the general perception that we have of it, not say with any malice, nothing. He said the then W. McKeever Bush, as his first term and first act as he being elected in December 1984, was to move a motion that removed, I think he said it was 4% then on duty that was paid on the sale of condos, money that Mr. Jim and Mr. Hague were using towards housing and the like. Could you help me? He says in the Hansards. Could you help me to secure that?
I'll find it. You don't worry. If it's in the Hansards,
yeah.
I don't care what book folder or what shelf or what chair it's under. We'll find it.
December 1984, he said the first motion, and I'll get it, and then I'll ask him if he would call in and comment on it. But I can share that this is not an individual who was malicious, not in his tone, not as an intent. And what he was saying basically is that, we do sometimes believe in, at that point, it's a good thing, but do we see it down the road? And his main emphasis is like the dump, the port, whether it's for cargo or cruise, whether it's constructing houses or roads or with schools. Are we looking sufficient long term? Do we think 4 years is long term? Do we think 40 years is long term?
We need to be thinking 50 to 100 years minimum.
That was what he shared, and he said successful societies. He gave us a reference, his perception of the Chinese economy, very much similar to what the Japanese did in their rebuilding efforts after World War II.
And we're talking about McKeever Bush, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, he didn't have that thought process when he built Royal Water Terminal. That only lasts us 2.5 years.
Well, it's unfortunate.
He's taking his own advice from 1984, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that I think many of us, we get caught up in a moment. We
get caught up in the love of money, Sterling.
Yeah.
We get caught up in the greed and the access to power at the expense of everybody else except themselves.
Yeah.
And then when they brought into question and try to be held accountable, we're perceived as troublemakers, or you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Oh, you're not into politics. You don't understand that, Mario. Yeah. I know I do understand, though, that my children will not be saddled with the debt of poor, broken, coward politicians. Not if I can help it.
All right. Well, that's when I said, you share what you do from the perspective you do. It should cause us to, whether we trust it, we verify. Whether we are encouraged and inspired by it, at least we see through you an example to share it,
I'll end with this, Sterling. I believe that politicians like Chris Saunders and all them who are in positions, and as opposed to trying to find these band-aid fixes to generate revenue, go after the real things. $3 trillion is being managed in the Cayman Islands annually in mutual funds and hedge funds in the financial service industry. Approximately 25% of that is paid into all the companies that manages these funds, right? The accounting firms, the legal firms, and the banks and whatnot, right? How is it government have not to this day put any stipend in place that extract money from the money already charged to the customer, because it don't affect them, that goes into a sovereignty that pays for health care, education, and housing? How it is that we haven't done that, but yet Chris Saunders wants to tax property so that he can pay for the very same things in which we could easily extract? But I get it. He's a member of the financial service fraternity, and I'm sure that when he touted that idea, if he ever did, that he would have been shot down by them institutions. You know why? Because the equity partners and the partners don't want to make less in their bonuses every year just so that the people of the Cayman Islands could be properly taken care of and secured. But no, we rather have galas with feed our children and meals on wheels and charities feeding our people, as opposed to us putting systems in place that allow other people to enjoy the Cayman dream in this jurisdiction. We fail at putting mechanisms in place in order to take care of our own people, and that's our fault. That lies on our doorstep. We need to do something about it. We don't need no coward politicians who pretend to want to do the right thing, get into the system, and then end up doing exactly what the rest of them did. That's how I see it, and that's what we need to stop. Now, I'll leave it there.
Thank you for giving us that time, and I always appreciate it. Together we'll try to find that thing and see if we can verify it. But thank you very much, all right? And final break, we take some other calls as we return. We invite you to stay on the line.
December is here, but there's still time for that Miami trip before Christmas. Cayman Airways has added several extra flights from Grand Cayman to Miami, perfect for a weekend getaway and to catch that increased duty-free allowance for Cayman residents. But hurry, word is getting round, so those extra seats not going last long. Book your Miami seats online at CaymanAirways.com or call them on 949-2311. All aboard Cayman Airways with extra flights to Miami before Christmas.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and we have time for one final call for today as we go to the phones. Welcome, thank you for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Dwayne.
And to you, sir. How are you
don't
today?
have much time because what I was actually going to say and discuss would take some time, but that can go for another time.
Thank you, sir.
It is essential that I said it. From the beginning with the health insurance, 26 years ago, 27 years ago, I think it is, I said it will not work, it cannot work, and it has not worked as we see now. Everybody is aware of that for the private sector, which is 85% or so of the people employed in Cayman. The same thing goes for the pension system paid into the private sector. It was mandatory. Our elected representatives made it a law. We know that. Mandatory. Mandatory. And anything mandatory, as far as I'm concerned, that's taken out of a person's salary should be paid to the government as a tax. It is wrong to give the people's money mandatorily to a private institution. Private institutions are in business for one purpose mainly, to make a profit. To make a profit. Otherwise, they would not be in business. Wouldn't make sense. The insurance companies are mostly what handles all that pension money. The health scheme, we know that's what it is. They make hundreds of billions of dollars a year in profit. That's their business. That's what they're in business for. And in the United States, they invest it in real estate. Real estate. So that's why they control all the mortgage companies and so forth. What we have to do, and I suggested it a long time ago, and several members of parliament at that time agreed with me, still do. I won't call their names or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But is to make it direct income tax. You take it out of a person's salary, a small amount of money. Instead of a $6 an hour person paying $180 a month for the SHIC or whatever it is, insurance, that we know doesn't cover them, and why we end up in the situation that Mr. MP, Mr. Saunders was talking about, and other people have known for years, where the government is bound and burdened with this millions and millions of dollars. And we knew it would happen. I said it would happen, and it has happened. All we have to do is what all other countries do. Most countries have a nationalized plan. We talk about universal, it's a nationalized plan where people pay into their income tax a small amount of money for health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
We could always work it out here that generational Caymanians would pay very little, if nothing at all, below a certain amount, or nothing, and they would be covered as it is now, and everybody would be covered for that small amount, but it must be paid, and it could be just a salary tax or payroll tax, as Bermuda has done. They're in the same business as we are. The same business as we are, helping people to handle their huge sums of money, passes through their country just like ours. We know that. I don't have to go into it. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and people know. People are not stupid. But we cannot continue like this and believe that it can work like this. It cannot, it has not, and it will not work. Let the people who are in the financial world, you're not burdening the investor at all. Their salaries must be taxed, and they will pay according to what they earn, a percentage, and it can be worked out. People working and earning $5,000 a day and some more than that, and paying, when you look at the percentage, the same as a little guy who is earning $6 an hour. Preposterous, unconscionable. And that's what has happened to us. If from the very beginning we had made it what it should have been as mandatory, a direct payment for income tax, and you'd have a workman's compensation tax like other countries have when you're out of work, which most people in any country wouldn't be out of work, or your country would be falling flat on its face. They receive that money until they get back a job that they have put into it, small amounts out of their salary. It's so very simple. It's done in other countries, and it amounts to a lot of money. We see the money that's passing through here. We know the salaries these people get. Anybody earning over a certain amount must pay a percentage, a certain amount, and those who are earning below, particularly generational Caymanians, would pay nothing. It's very, very simple. But we don't have the courage to do the right thing. And it would take care of all of this. would take care. Just courage. That's that one simple word. Tell the people the truth. It has to happen, and I know that it will happen. We will have to pay some form of direct income tax in the very near future and take care of these problems instead of scrapping the government with these bills that we'll never be able to pay. Have a wonderful day, sir.
And to you as well. Thank you for sharing that. And Mr. Mickey has been very consistent. I think as he commends Mr. Mario Rankin for his perspective, maybe increasingly from the initial thoughts of Sir Alden, speaking to the issues that perhaps, our legislation for health and pensions are maybe not fit for purpose, as it were. Maybe we need to look more closely. And as Mario D. Rankin has consistently emphasized, let's fix the problem. The solutions are readily available. The problems are small, relatively speaking. It just needs to have that will to do so and the courage, as again Mr. Mickey has emphasized. So what is it going to take to get there? Are we willing to work and not just change the players, but perhaps change the paradigm? Well, let's see what happens. Again, have a very safe and enjoyable the rest of the day. Take it as your personal responsibility to move about safely, sensibly, with due care and attention, with consideration. Stop lights and stop signs, well, obey them. Don't, if you'll allow me to use the local parlance, don't cut through the gas stations. Don't, put yourself in harm's way by crossing roads in an unsafe and dangerous manner. Blocking up intersections and the like, knowing that you will not get through, even though you have the green light, you just go in there. Well, let's see if we can work it out together, minimize and mitigate any potential, negative impact. Being mindful of the adage, better to arrive late than not at all. Have a wonderful afternoon. God's willing, we'll spend a wonderful day tomorrow with you again, and welcome you and your contributions. All the very, very best. God bless.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949